Okay. So we're still a little bit on a human construct. There is um, a couple of concept, just little concept. We're still here, operating principle of the subconscious mind. Okay, we're talking about total causality. Everything that we experience in this life, this lifetime, is a can be explained in terms of vibrational energy frequency. Positive vibrational energy, negative vibrational energy, ultra high vibrational energy frequency. If we have done a lot of good deeds, we accumulate a lot of positive credits, and so we get to experience a lot of positivity. Um, for those for those people who want to go up, for the people who want to go up, there is, and especially those people in a from a Buddhist perspective, for the people who want to experience ultimate release, liberation, right? Ultimate liberation, um, free themselves from the cycle of birth and rebirth. Okay, earlier on, we were talking about how there's a possibility of multiple lifetimes. And so we keep on coming back and keep on doing it over and over. We may accumulate some good fortune, and so we come back and we experience good fortune, but we go and we burn it, right? We burn our fortune. In fact, even if we don't burn our fortune, the fact that we use any positivity, if the fact that we use any good fortune, we're actually using up that account, right? It's not an infinite account, just like money. When we have money in our bank account, we use it and it's going to get depleted. Same with good fortune. If we are born into good fortune, into money, into wealth and power, and if we just use it and use it and use it, and we don't replenish it, then that fortune account is going to get depleted. And eventually, when the good fortune account is depleted, what we're left with is a bunch of seed in the bad fortune account. And those seed will have more chance of sprouting, right, in our garden of subconscious, if the positive seed is all used up, right? Imagine those fruit. Let's say we eat up all the positive fruit, all the good fruit, and then our garden is no good fruit left. Now we're left with nothing with bad fruit. And so if we just use up our good fortune account and we don't replenish it, we are left with a lot of bad fruit. And so we're gonna get to reap the bad fruit. Right. And so to protect ourselves, we make sure that we, first of all, we don't burn it by don't go resentment and blame. We practice honoring gratitude. We don't become arrogant. We practice humbleness. We don't let ourselves become delusional and wrathful. We practice magnanimity. We practice morality to prevent ourselves from burning a fortune due to adultery. And we try to maintain level 3 wisdom in order to prevent ourselves from becoming close-minded or obstinate. Okay. When it comes to the bad seed, earlier when I shared the story of the criminal on the right hand of Jesus, that criminal did something really special that most of us would want to do if we want to go up, is to welcomely receive all the bad fruit. We cannot escape until we have paid off in full, because every every hair in our head will be counted. And once we are paid in full, we don't have to worry. As long as we don't plant new seed, okay? As long as, let's say bad fortune comes to us in a form of illness, in a form of financial or relationship trouble, those are bad fortune. Those are bad fruit that we have to reap. As long as we welcomely receive it, we eat the fruit, okay? Welcomely eat it, even if it's a undesirable fruit. As long as we welcomely receive it, then we can be at ease. Rest assured that there is no double jeopardy in causality. Double jeopardy, that is a legal terminology in the legal system, the Justice Department. When a person in the Justice Department, in the legal system, when a person is accused of a crime and he or she is tried for that crime, once that trial is over and the person is acquitted, or if the person has been sentenced and they go to jail or they pay for their crime, then that person can no longer be accused of the same crime. A person cannot be tried twice, being in trouble twice, double jeopardy, right? No double jeopardy. So in the legal system, you cannot punish a person twice for one crime. If they commit another crime, then they will be tried and they will be punished for another crime. It's the same thing with human life and experience. Whatever bad thing that we have done in the past that has resulted in this life being purgatory and we have to pay for our crime in the past through pain and suffering, know that once we pay for that crime, we will no longer have to pay for that crime anymore. And it is only possible when we fully welcome, receive it. And as long as we don't plant new seed. If we don't accept our punishment, that's like a criminal who refused to be arrested and he runs away from the law and he becomes a fugitive, and the law continues to chase them down. And so we are continually being chased down by the law, not only human law, but God's law. The universe has a way of keeping us accountable for the crime that we commit. And as long as we don't fully accept it, as long as we keep on chasing, we will continue to receive negativity. When bad things come to us and we don't accept it with serenity, with magnanimity, we don't take gratitude in the lesson that life offers us, then what we have just done is we continue to plant new seed. And we plant those new seed with new negativity, and those seed is gonna eventually sprout and become a tree, and it will bear new negative fruit again. And that is why human beings continue to suffer from lifetime over lifetime. But fortunately, enlightened people, especially from the Buddhist perspective, recognize this, and they teach that if you fully welcomely accept all the consequences, take responsibility, accept it, eat the fruit, even if it's bad fruit, then once you eat that fruit, it's clean. And you stop cultivating that tree, don't plant any new seed, then eventually your garden will be clean. And that's how you can go up. Just as the criminal on the right hand of Jesus fully accepts his total causality. The moment that he accepts his total causality, the consequence of his action, he accepts the final punishment, that is the last fruit that he has to eat, which is to be crucified on a cross next to Jesus. Causality ends. His sentencing ends when he received that punishment, and then he gets to go up. Only and if only he fully welcomes it and allow the law of causality to take effect. But if we don't accept it, we don't take responsibility, we continue to avoid, we continue to try to fix the fruit, okay? That's what we do. We try to fix the fruit and we don't fully accept the consequence of our action, then we continue to plant new seed, or the tree will continue to bear fruit, negative fruit, until we eat it all. So no jeopardy, no double jeopardy in causality, total causality, the consequence of all the action that we have taken in our, in the past lifetime. In the formula for the root cause of life, we say that the root cause of life begins with me, but I am not to blame. It is not my fault. At first, when you hear that, it may jar with the Catholic acts of contrition, which is a prayer that basically my fault, all my grievous fault for all of I've done, all of I have failed to do, which cause suffering, which is the sin, all my sins. But in that Catholic prayer, there is a second part. First, it is the taking responsibility for all your fault. But the second part is to offer up to God, God's grace. So you actually fully welcome the fruit and you accept it with serenity. And when you achieve a degree of serenity, you have already paid for all your sin by accepting it, all my fault, then you have paid the price. And therefore you can go up. Okay, so if anybody who's Catholic and you know the prayer of contrition by heart, the root cause formula does not conflict with it, because the second part is the important part. It's not all my fault. It is, if you resent yourself and if you blame yourself, that makes you negative, and it's not going to be positive for you to actually go up. But it is the second part. It is the offering up of yourself to God's grace. It is a part where you achieve a state of serenity, recognizing that we are now free from sin after we have taken responsibility for ourselves. Okay, that'll help us go up. And so, yeah. Okay, and so very briefly, since we are operating on the human construct and we're trying to improve our fortune in life so that we can be healthy and happy, how do we manage that engine of causality? How do we manage the engine of causality? Okay. We do that by the 7 great gifts of life. Okay. So here we're still operating on causality. We're still on trying to improve the inner seed so that we could affect positive outcome in life, health, happiness. So, and improve our fortune. So let me tell you a story about a poor farmer. There's this old poor farmer who's been working hard all his life, works hard, try to make a better life for himself, but nothing seems to be working. He works very hard. He puts in a lot of time and effort, and his life isn't getting any better. So one day, the farmer goes to a sage, a master sage, and he says, "Sage, I've been working all my life, working very hard, but my life isn't getting any better. I'm not making any kind of fortune. What can I do?" And the sage said, "Well, you need to give. You need to give your fortune away. In order to improve your life, in order to uh, experience greater fortune, you actually have to give your fortune away." And the farmer said, "But I'm poor. I have nothing. I have nothing to give. How can I give anything that I don't have? If giving is required in order to have a better life and I have nothing to give, then how can I ever have a better life?" So the sage said, "You actually have more gifts to give than you think. You actually have an infinite amount of treasure within your being that you realize." And these are the following gifts. You can give the gift of your face, which is your smile. Okay. How many times can you smile a day? Unlimited. How many people's life can you make better thanks to your gift of your smile? Your gift of your smile, gift of your face, gift of your appearance. Okay. How many times can you do it? You can do it many, many times. Every time you smile, every time you put up a happy face for another person, you cause them to feel better. You increase their energy, thereby depositing a positive energy into your good fortune account. And over time, your good fortune will bear fruit and you will receive positive fortune. You can give the gift of your eyes, which is the gift of your gaze. Okay, gaze. The way you look at another person. Instead of looking at another person with the eyes of envy or the eyes of judgment, try hold within your gaze the look of, I don't know. So I got lost there. There are many ways you can look for the positive within another person, right? You can choose to look at another person. Remember root cause of formula for root cause of life? To change your life, change your mental image. You can monitor what you see. You can change what we say and what we know. So you can give the gift of your eyes, change the way you see another person. You can see the other person as an image of God, who is whole, perfect, and complete. You can see another person as your potential teacher. You can see another person as a potential benefactor. In fact, another person's present is enough of a present for you. Your gaze, the way you look at another person, the gift of your eye, the gift of your seeing. Okay. Yeah, and if you can look at another person and see them for the potentiality of who they could be, the positive potential, instead of looking at the bad thing about other people and blaming them for it. See the potential for goodness in another person, the gift of your seeing, or the gift of your gaze, or the gift of your eyes. Next one, the gift of your speech or word. Okay, we already learned that we have, as human being, we have the nature that we are always already saying and speaking things. So start saying nice things, saying kind words to other people, say encouraging words. Inspire other people instead of putting them down. And if you can inspire other people, give them hope, encourage them, give them words of gratitude, honor them with your words, compliment them with your words, you cause them to go positive, thereby depositing a positive seed into your good fortune account. And over time, when your good fortune account overflow, it will bear fruit and you will start to experience positivity in life. Number 4, the gift of your heart. The heart of gratitude. Okay? Be grateful for people. Your presence is my present. You don't need to do anything. Just the fact that you are here is a gift for me. And I honor you with my words. I thank you. I am appreciative. I am grateful for your presence, and I am honored by your participation. Make a list of all the things that you can be grateful for and then share with other people. So when we give other people the gift of our heart, a heart of gratitude, we cause them to feel appreciated. Okay? When we appreciate them, they feel appreciated. They feel like they're a person of value. They feel confident. Their sense of identity go up. In the human construct, remember the identity, one of the human basic needs, right? The need to be acknowledged. When we're a parent and we acknowledge our son or our children, my wife just acknowledged our son. He's only 8 years old, and we have a air filter in the house. And last night the air filter turned, the light turned from green to orange, indicating that the filter is dirty. And for the first time in his life, he just opened the air filter, took out the filter, and cleaned it on his own. Never been told to do that ever in the past. We had to tell him to do chores like wash the clothes and replace the garbage bag. But our son did it on his own, and we acknowledge him for it. We acknowledge our son for being a talent asset to the family. It is a sign of a mature adult that he is growing, and we appreciate him for that. And when we say it with sincere gratitude, he will get it. He will realize that he is being acknowledged as a person of value. It makes him go positive. He gets more confident. He gets more, he feels more value, right? Although it's human nature, we can cause that human nature to go positive. And guess what happened to our affinity with that person? When we acknowledge them, he's going to appreciate us back. He'll be more trusting. He'll be more likely to do it again, because he, not only so that he could get the compliment, but simply because he has this positive energy of being a person of value. And so he will likely more be able to, in the future, just automatically do it on his own. And that is a form of a positive fruit that we get to reap, simply because we acknowledge our son and we do it with a heart of gratitude for an action that he is to perform. The gift of our heart. Number 5, the gift of our spirit. Okay, what spirit? The spirit of magnanimity. A spirit so great that you can afford to be so generous that we don't need to blame people. We simply accept and tolerate them, and we can hold them in our heart and our gaze. Whatever people do to us, we don't take that to be an offense, because our spirit is so great. Magnanimous spirit, the spirit of magnanimity, a great spirit to be able to be merciful to people, to be able to forgive people in a simple way as many times as it needs, and to get to a level where we don't even see fault, that we don't even need to forgive anymore. And when another person is in our presence, and the sense that we are so generous and magnanimous, it will encourage them to be better people. And we reap that fruit as a positive outcome in our life. So instead of our son, for example, let's say he makes a mistake. Traditional, we may punish our son, and we punish him. But instead of punishing him, we learn to tolerate it in a certain specific way that will encourage him to realize that he is a good person, that instead of focusing on the negative, he just needs to focus on behaving well. And with the gift of spirit, we will encourage another person to be better people. And that is a positive fruit that we will reap as a positive outcome in our life. Number 7, give the gift of our body. Okay, which is kind action, helping action, kind action. Right? Help people. Our body, our hands and our feet, just do things that are helpful for other people. Jesus Christ gave the ultimate gift of his body. Did Jesus Christ, a rich man come to Jesus, and a rich man said, how do I go to heaven? What do I need to do to go to heaven? And Jesus said, give away all your fortune. And a rich man walked away sad because he had too many things and he did not want to give anything away. His physical material fortune was more important to him than the spiritual fortune that he is about to receive, which is equivalent to the kingdom of God. Same thing here. The Buddhist perspective also teaches us to give your fortune away. But like the farmer, if the farmer who has nothing, if we have something, we can give the physical material stuff, but we don't have to give the material stuff because we have all of these infinite fortune within us. That's the beauty about learning about the human construct as human nature. We have an infinite amount of fortune to give. Our face, our eyes, our speech, our heart, our spirit, our body. And finally, my favorite, the gift of position. Okay. Give about a seat, which is a position. Okay. Our place in life, our place, our situation. If we are rich, that is a status or seat or a position in life. If we are rich, give the other people richness. If we have knowledge, give people knowledge. If we are in a state of physical health, give people physical health. If we hold the secret to a happy marriage, give people the secret to happy marriage. If we have a effective methodology for raising children, well, give people the position of being parent who raised affected children. Well, this is what we're doing here. That's what I'm doing. I'm sharing my gift of position, which is the position of knowledge about the philosophy on health and happiness, about the inner being, about the human construct, about the principles of light, about the root cause formula for the source of life. I'm giving you the gift of my position, of my seat. In a literal term, in a work environment or business environment, you can give literally the gift of your position. If you're, let's say, a manager, help train other people to take over your position as manager. When you do that, the boss will see that you are a person of greater value than just a managerial position, and guess what? You will be promoted. The opposite is you would hide your skill and hide your your what you know, and step on other people to prevent them from taking over your job. Right? Job security. You see that in the job place, there are people who hide their skill and prevent other people from learning their position so that they don't take over the position of manager, for instance. Those people may stay in a position of manager for a while because they step on other people, but they will never become, better than that. But if we want our fortune to improve, if we want our future to look better than today, then we had better operate this engine of value creation, of merit and fortune, by giving people gifts of life, our face, our eyes, our speech, our heart, our spirit, our body, our position, our smile, our gaze, our kind word, gratitude, magnanimity, kind action, and our seat in life, then we will deposit positive seed into our good fortune account, and our life will get better. We will reap the fruit of positivity. Because every time we smile at another person's face, we plant that seed in the garden of our subconscious. And we're telling our will, Mr. Will, to water positive energy in that seed. Our affinity with people will go up. Okay, and when we cause other people to feel good, to be happy, then we are going to go up pretty fast. In this lifetime, or at the end of this lifetime, next lifetime will be better. The gift of position is an opportunity for us to actually liberate ourselves from the cycle of birth and rebirth. So in addition to help other people feel good, you can give them the position of wisdom, open their mind, elevate their wisdom to level 3. We'll learn that later. And when other people reaches level 3 wisdom, their mind opens, they have a chance of liberating themselves, and thereby we acquire limitless spiritual intellectual energy. According to the Buddhist tradition, some people can choose whether or not to reincarnate or not. The Dalai Lama, I think the 40-something Dalai Lama, he was exiled from Tibet. The Dalai Lama can choose the hours of his death, and he can choose whether he wants to come back another lifetime to lead humanity, or he can choose to liberate. Just as the Siddhartha Gautama did. After spending 49 years teaching humanity, he chose not to come back. That would be his last lifetime. He had accumulated all the necessary intellectual merit to enable him to choose. He has the full clarity, full wisdom, full awakening, and full enlightenment to choose where to go next. He doesn't have to come back and pay for any sin because he already paid it off. There's no double jeopardy in causality. Christian teaching similar, but it's not as detailed, so we don't quite get it. Right? Giving the gifts, giving people our fortune has to do with helping other people feel better, be more happy, elevate their station, their status in life, and thereby earning our way into a better life. Either better fortune next life, more riches, more health, or to liberate completely. Okay? Any question or impression about that one so far? Okay. Let's see. Okay. So the last part about sharing is going to be the third and final reference system. Okay, this teaching is very simple. In just a few hours, we can learn to fully grasp human life and experience. We have all the tools that we'll ever need. That's why in the flyer I say, study for one day and have it for the rest of your life. Human life and experience. As before, we have different frame of references that offers us different tools. From the science perspective, we were given the root cause formula. Okay, root cause formula. Square root. Root cause formula. The root cause formula gives us mental images. So if we want a good life, all we got to do is invent positive mental images through the process of hearing and seeing, saying and knowing. Positive mental images gives us positive outcome in life. Okay, from a scientific perspective. From the religion and spirituality, perspective, we get the system of reference called the human construct. In other words, it's a human energy structure. We talked a lot about energy vibration, spiritual energy, intellectual energy, inner being, right? Energy vibration with respect to time, energy vibration with respect to our observation and perception of object and space and of people, vibrational energy frequency, okay? All of that is in the human construct. And the root of the human construct frame of reference is the energy. Let's use this pen, energy of good, bad, merit, okay? Good deed, bad deed, merit. Okay, energy. Human construct talks all about energy. And then in the third frame of reference, which is the common sense, morality, perspective, the tool that we're going to get today is called the reality triangle. Okay, the reality triangle. And what the reality triangle gives us is the source concept, and we'll explain that in just a bit. Source concept. You notice we've been drawing triangles all this time, but we haven't explained it, okay? But in the common sense morality perspective, we are going to operate on the reality triangle. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about the reality triangle. Since it is a big frame of reference, we're gonna write it. Let's see you write it on the bottom. Reality triangle, or triangle of reality. Okay, reality triangle. Do you notice that everything in this universe whether we can see it, touch it, feel it, sense it, measure it, even become aware of it, has a physicality. Another word for physicality is a material or physical manifestation. Okay? Physical manifestation or physicality. Take the element of gold and the element of lead. Gold and lead has a certain physicality about it, a certain physical manifestation. We can sense gold, we can measure gold, we can sense lead, and we measure lead. And we notice that lead and gold have different physical manifestation, different physicality. Gold is yellowy and shiny. Lead is kind of dull and gray. It is the physical manifestation of gold, which is different than the physical manifestation of lead. In other words, the physicality of gold is different than the physicality of lead. Simple to explain, right? Now, as scientists study the element of gold and study the element of lead, they zoom in, zoom in, zoom in down to the lowest level, and they notice that gold and lead each exhibit a different energy frequency. Everything that is physical in this world, every particle also exhibit a wave-like pattern, which is measured in vibrational energy frequency. Vibrational energy frequency. So lead and gold has an energy component. In fact, you can determine what physicality it is simply by measuring its energy. If we don't have lead and gold in our hand, we can use a scientific instrument and we measure the energy frequency of gold, and we know that that is gold. We can measure an energy frequency of lead, and we know that is lead without having it in our hand. And science can do this with elements that are millions and millions of miles away on another planet, on another stars. Scientists can look at a star or another planet and measure the vibrational energy frequency of those stars and those planets, and they can tell, oh, that star is made of helium, hydrogen, whatever. That planet is made of iron. That planet is made of methane, whatever. When people who go mining for gold, nowadays with modern technology, people go mining for gold or precious metal. They just use an instrument. They just send a beam of energy down, and that beam will reflect, and the reflection of that energy pattern will help the scientist and the engineer determine what kind of metal, what kind of element is in the ground without having to dig first. In the old days, we have to dig. People went digging for gold, they had to dig. How many people go up the mountain, they had to dig. The only way to find out is to dig. But now, whether it's gold or it's oil in the ground, scientists only need to measure its energy vibration, and then they know what element is in the ground. They can do that with fishing too. They just send a sonar signal down, and it reflects, and they can tell that's a whale or is it a school of a sardine. So everything has a physicality which expresses itself in ways that we can measure, that we can touch and feel, okay? And then it has an energy wave, an energy frequency that ultimately give rise to that physicality. And it's very unique. The energy of gold will never be different than the energy of gold. It will always be unique that way. You can never confuse gold and lead when you look at the energy. Okay, because if it vibrates that way, it has to have that physical manifestation. Gold will always be shiny and yellowy. If it's not, then it's not gold, it's something else. Okay, it's the energy. Now, as the scientists study some more, they look closer and even closer into the bottom level of the element. They discover that, okay, why does gold vibrate a certain way? Why does lead have a certain energy level? And they discover that the basic structure of gold is different than the basic structure of lead. In other words, the atoms and the electrons and the neutron are arranged differently. Gold has a certain number of protons and electron and neutron, and lead has a different number of proton, electron, and neutron. And then you go down to the quark level. And to simplify it, they simply call it information. Okay? Simply call it information. The information of gold, the way those electrons and protons are arranged, give rise to the energy level of gold and give rise to the physicality of gold. The information inside lead, the way it's put together, give rise to the energy vibration, give rise to its physical manifestation of lead. And so what scientists does is they have in their hand a recipe for lead, a recipe for gold. They don't need to have a block of lead or block of gold in their hand. They just need the information. And thanks to the information of lead and gold, scientists have been able to turn lead into gold by rearranging the atomic structure, adding or removing electrons and protons so that the number of electrons and protons and neutrons of lead matches the number of electron, protons, and neutrons of gold. And so it's going to give the energy frequency of gold, and it will be gold. It doesn't just look like gold, it is gold. Literally, you turn lead into gold by changing the internal information, the information inside it. We can turn salt water into drinking water by understanding the information inside it, changing the concentration of salt and 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 water and minerals and stuff like that. So in the physical world, we can change the physicality of something from one to another simply by changing the information within them. Okay, that's a simple to understand. Let's see if we can apply that to the human life and experience. Is it true that a person who is happy will have a certain physical manifestation that is different from the person who is unhappy? You can see it. You can sense it. You can feel it. A person who is happy has a certain physical manifestation that is totally different from the person who is depressed or anxious or stressed out or sad. Right? The physicality is different. And so if the physicality is different, then maybe something about the energy level is also different. So you get to ask, oh, okay, what kind of energy level is contained within a person who is happy that is different from the energy level of a person who is sad? And by the same token, what kind of information contained within a person who is happy that is different than the information contained within a person who is sad? And more importantly, just as scientists have been able to change the information within lead in order to create gold, then we can change the information inside a sad person into a happy person. That is why the reality triangle is a third reference system that we study after we study the energy aspect of the human construct. So you can change the information inside a person so that you can change the person. We can change the information inside ourselves so that we can change ourselves. We can change the information is the seed in the causality formula. The energy is the affinity part of the causality formula. Okay, I can write that down if you want. Inner seed. Okay, this is the affinity or the condition. Remember, cause and condition, affinity. And this is the fruit. Okay. So if we know that the information within a person is something that is going to give rise to the energy and the physicality, well, let's go to work on the inner seed. From a reality triangle system of reference. We just use the same, instead of drawing a different triangle, we just use this same triangle. Okay. Now let's use different triangle. We'll go back to this one. So the good inner seed okay. Good inner seed of a person, right? Good inner seed of a person. If we can find out what is the good inner seed, we can plant that good seed, cultivate it, it'll bear fruit to become a good life. Health and happiness is the final outcome that we want. Okay, what is a good inner seed of a person? But from it, when it comes to the reality triangle, the sages have taught us that the good inner seed of a person, or at least the seed, okay, never mind good for now, just the seed inside a person is our knowledge. It's that instead of saying knowledge, we're going to say that which we know, that which we believe, and that which we understand. Okay, that which we know, that which we believe, and that which we understand represent the information within us. That which we know, that which we believe, and that which we understand represent the information within us, which represent our reality. Because the seed, the good seed, is going to bear fruit to be a good reality, right? This is a causality triangle. Whatever seed that you sow, so shall you reap. And so that what we understand, that what we know, that what we believe, that what we understand represent the information within us, represent our source concept. Okay, that is the word. It's called source concept. Just instead of information, we call it source concept. Okay. That which we know, that which we believe, that which we understand represent the information within us, represent the source concept within us, represent our reality. When thinking about happiness, right? Good inner seed of happiness. When thinking about happiness, that which we know about happiness, that which we believe about happiness, that which we understand about happiness, represent the information within us about happiness, represent our source concept of happiness, and thereby represent our reality of happiness. Do you get that? When thinking about health, that which we know about health, that which we believe about health, that which we understand about health, represent the information within us about health, represent our source concept about health, which ultimately represent our reality of health. Okay. How about relationship? Marriage relationship, okay? That which we know about marriage relationship, that which we believe about marriage relationship, that which we understand about marriage relationship, represent our information about within us about relationship, represent our source concept of relationship, and thereby represent our reality of marriage relationship. So if we have the kind of, so that which we know, that which we believe, and that which we understand is favorable or aligned with our desire, then our reality is going to be favorable and aligned with our desire. If we have favorable knowledge, favorable belief, favorable understand about happiness, then that is our favorable source concept of happiness, which ultimately will give rise to the reality, favorable reality of happiness. We're going to be happy. But if we are If our knowledge, belief, and understand, or if that which we know, that which we believe, or that which we understand is unfavorable or does not align with our desire, then guess what? We are going to have a reality that is undesirable. It's going to be against what we desire. See how simple it is? The source concept within us, the information within us is simply that which we know, that which we believe, and that which we understand. So if that which we know, that which we believe, and that which we understand is favorable, then we're going to get favorable outcome. So we go all the way back to the principle of light. All the way back to the principle of alignment with desire. When we have a certain inquiry and we inquire along the line of our desire, then we are going to receive the kind of realization and the kind of knowledge that align with align with our desire. We're going to end up with the kind of belief and the kind of understanding that will align with our desire. But if we inquire negatively, why things are so bad? Why am I so sick? Then you're going to end up with a lot of knowledge, belief, and understand about why things are so bad, why we're so sick. You're going to be very knowledgeable and understanding about illness, and you still have no idea what health looks like. Right? See how powerful the reality triangle is? The seed within us, if it is to be a good seed, then it has to be favorable source concept. The source concept has to be favorable. So basically, good inner seed, favorable source concept. Okay, favorable source concept. And when your source concept is favorable and your system of reference is favorable, aligned with your desire and give you the kind of outcome that you want, okay, then we call that the correct system of reference. Or correct reference system. We go through life and there are many different reference systems, different ideologies, different perspective and different ways of looking at things. But some of them will help us not achieve what we want. If we go through life and we use a system of reference that explain why things are so bad, and what we really want is good health, and all we have is a system of reference that tells you why we have bad health, then that doesn't help us get good health. If we want happiness and we use a system of reference that explain why, why we're unhappy, then that is not a correct system of reference. We don't want to use those reference of system. We went through scientific approach, we went through religious and spiritual approach, we use common sense, morality. Each of those is a system of reference. The root cause formula is a system of reference. And because the root cause formula gives us favorable source concept, help us arrive at the outcome of life that we want, that is desirable. It is a correct system of reference. The human construct is a system of reference. The human construct help us understand causality, help us understand vibrational energy frequency, help understand good fortune, bad fortune, intellectual merit, help us understand gifts of life, engine of merit and value creation, so that we could ultimately get what we want out of life, which is a positive fortune, so that we could go up. Then the human construct is a favorable source concept and thereby a correct system of reference. And now we have the reality triangle. The reality triangle teaches us that the inner seed within us, our source concept, the information within us, is made up of that which we know, that which we believe, and that which we understand. And so all we need to know is what we want in life, and then we go to this reality triangle and fill out the blank. If we want good health, what kind of knowledge do we need to know that is going to be conducive to good health? How are we going to believe it? And how do we understand that knowledge so that we can experience good health? Raising children. That which we know about raising children, that which we believe about raising children, that we understand about raising children, represent the information within us about raising children, represent our source concept of raising children. And if that source concept is favorable and conducive to us raising children in a way that we want, then that would be our reference system. And that would be a favorable source concept for raising children. On the other hand, if you go and you cultivate and accumulate knowledge and ideas and belief that does not help us raise children better, then that is not a favorable source concept. That is an unfavorable source concept, and that's not what we want, because what we want is favorable outcome in life. All right. So we go in full circle. We go in full circle back to a house. Okay, back to this house. On the bottom of the house, the foundation of our being is our inner being. All the stuff that goes on inside us. On the left wall is our health. On our right side is our relationship. On the top is our finance. And we already agree that all of these are interrelated. Our inner being is related to our relationship. Our inner being is related to our health. It is related to our finance, and all of the other ones are interrelated to each other. Life doesn't have to be complicated. It's very simple. Just 4 areas of life that we need to work on. But now with the reality triangle, all we need is to make sure that all of our source concept is favorable. Favorable source concept regarding our inner being. Favorable source concept regarding our health. Favorable source concept regarding our relationship. Favorable source concept regarding our finance. What are the source concepts? That which we know, that which we believe, that which we understand. And you can, on your own, you just sit down and you develop this source concept. What do we want in life? Write 3 columns. What do I know? What do I believe? What do I understand? And go fill in the blank. Then from now on, any class that you take, inside or outside of this philosophy, you can rearrange those knowledge in such a way so that they represent that which we know, that which you believe, and that which you understand, and you want to make sure that they are favorable, that they are alignment with our desire, because if they are not in alignment with your desire, it's going to be hard to achieve the positive outcome that we want in life. Okay, another different look at the what is that in the seed one? Okay, this one. Okay, this one. No, let's try another one. Okay. So we go back to the good inner seed. Law of causality give us the good inner seed, because it is the inner seed that will give rise to the energy that give rise to the physicality. Okay. So once again, the physicality the energy the information okay, the good inner seed we already were given in a from a scientific perspective. Okay, remember the scientific perspective, we get the root cause of formula. The root cause give us good or positive mental images. From a religious and spiritual perspective or system of reference, the human construct, it gives us the energy of good fortune and merit, which is intellectual energy. From the triangle of reality that we just learned, we get favorable, a favorable source concept. Right? What is source concept? The information within us, that which we know, that which we believe, that which we understand. So to build our good inner seed, we have the physicality, the energy, and the information. We were given the 3 tools to match those. From a physicality standpoint, the root cause formula gives us good mental images. Our mental images, that which we the hear and our seeing, our knowing, our saying, the clearer the mental images, the clearer the physical reality that we have. From an energetic perspective, it is a human construct, good fortune and merit. 7 great gifts of life. From a reality triangle perspective, or the morality common sense perspective, we get the favorable source concept. From those 3 frame of reference or 3 system of reference, we can begin to develop the good inner seed? First, by planting the seed of wisdom. From the seed of wisdom, it will give rise to the energy of attitude. Okay? Using wisdom as our source concept, using wisdom as the information within us, it will give rise to a kind of attitude that correlate to that information. Attitude is an energy, emotional, mental energy. As the wisdom give rise to the energy of attitude, a person begins to manifest physically or materially as character. Okay. The physical manifestation is the stuff that people can feel and sense. It's hard for people to know what goes on in our own mind with respect to wisdom. Nobody know what level of wisdom we're on. They can sometimes sense our attitude. They can definitely see our character because the physical aspect is something that is more simple to measure, to see, to feel. We cannot see the information inside gold, but we can see the physical manifestation of gold. Just that we cannot see the information inside a person, but we can see a person of character when they manifest externally in such a way. We can sense the attitude too, happy, joyful person. And then when you go more and more out, you start to work on your affinity with other people. Then what you're going to start getting is the seed of, you plant the seed of integrity. Okay, the seed of integrity will help us with our capability and power. Capability. A person of integrity has a lot of power and influence with other people. I just use the word capability here instead of power. But essentially, it is the ability to do a lot of things. And when you apply integrity to your body, you also get the physical vitality. Vitality. Okay? And we don't need to worry about the material possession, because when you are holistically rich, it is impossible to be materially poor. Those are the wisdom, attitude, character, 1, 2, 3, integrity, capability, physicality, physical vitality are the 6 candles in the house of holistic health. The last one is the candle of material well-being, and that just lit up on its own once all the other 6 are lit. Physical vitality. Okay. And I think I'm going to stop there. I think that kind of wraps us up. It goes full circle. And we go all the way back to the house of holistic health. Won't find it anymore. That's fine. Question, impression.
No question.
Yeah.
Very interesting subject.
Then what about impression? If you have no question, you better have some impression.
Impression. I'm focusing with the good mental and images.
Okay.
I have to study more on that one
Okay.
deeply. And then wisdom. I'm concerned about this. Those are my weakness, I'll be honest to you. That I need to study more and find myself, and make it, that three item I mentioned to you, make it stronger.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your present in the Zoom this long. Let me see.
But thank you to you. I
Okay.
really enjoy of that time.
Yes, thank you, Frank. For me, I'm able to go through this a few times now, and my writing's getting better.
Long.
Yeah, I'm starting to memorize the diagrams, and yeah, it's really starting to sink in.
Okay.
And I thank you for that.
Nice job.
Vincent, are you still there? Jihua, did you get anything out of this last part of the sharing? Question or impression? Oh, Miss Hoa.
Em Hoa,
Em Hoa, so cute.
Frank is calling you.
Có khi mình chưa làm được, ví dụ có khi mình chưa.
I am just into this one right now. This is my test, the good inner seed.
Okay.
That's so awesome. And it's in Vietnamese. I'm preparing for my test.
Oh,
Yeah, this is
wow.
a very good triangle for good inner seed. It's very visual. It's easy to grasp. What is good about this? That how do I get out of this?
Anything that stands
Yeah.
out to you? Do you have any question about it?
I am very impressed about it because it has all these seven holistic wealth in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it also have the favorable source concepts, the energy of good fortune and merit and good mental images. So that is by itself. Those three is a triangle alone, and we can expand on that knowledge a lot. Yeah, so that's what I can share. Thank you. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
So I'm thinking that with this 24-hour sharing, we started from the beginning. We went all the way through the three system of references. I think I will just continue from here on the Wednesday sharing, which is, start over with the reality triangle, and we begin to light up the first candle in our house, the candle of wisdom.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. And I have to do another 24 hours sometime soon. I wonder if I should do the 24-hour as a continuation of other material we haven't covered, or do you feel that, and I'll ask you guys, okay, do you feel like you want me to start over and do the beginning again with the next 24 hours? Do you feel that would be useful to go over?
For myself, I like it.
You want to
Because
try again?
everything just repeat everything for me is good.
So you want me to repeat another 24-hour very similar to this?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because
Yeah.
a lot of information. I know we're not
Yeah.
gonna be able to retain everything the first time.
No.
So let me see if I can schedule another one pretty soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another 24 hours similar like this. We'll probably start at next time. We'll probably start earlier because this time I had a 2 p.m. Commitment. Next time we'll probably start at let's say 9 a.m. or something like that.
Is
Yeah.
it possible to make it with the two different days, each of them 12 hours, not 24 hours?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It may be too much of a for you guys, huh? Okay.
No, maybe I can, invite more people to join and learn.
Okay, we can do that. We can
This is a good information.
do like if that, then we have to start earlier. If we can do like let's say a 7 to 7.
I was
And
thinking the same
7
thing.
Huh?
Yeah.
Right? Can we next weekend or let me see. I don't know. I'm not sure if next weekend. Well, I don't have anything next weekend, so we might be able to do next weekend.
I'm going to my
Next
class right
Saturday,
now.
I have an
Different.
application.
Okay. Next Saturday, what do you have, Ron?
I have to go to Port Alberni. Well,
Okay.
another town on our island that I have to go to on Saturday.
How about the weekend after that, the 24 and 25 of May?
24th, yeah, possibly, but there's a wedding on the 25th.
Okay. What time do you leave for the wedding?
It's Wa's daughter that's getting married, so
Oh, okay. So
we'll
that's
probably
gonna be
be busy pretty much the
Congratulations.
whole weekend.
a busy day, right? How about okay, so the 10th and the 11th, which is next weekend, you can't, right? You guys not available next weekend?
Sunday. Are you talking about going from 7 to 7?
Yeah. So Morgan had just suggested to do a 12 hours instead of a long 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
So before you commit, we need
Yes.
to check our schedule. What day that Frank is talking about?
So next Saturday would
Next
be the
Saturday.
10th, and the Sunday would be 11. If we want to do another 7 to 7 plus 7 to 7, which is a 12 hours.
Yeah, that works.
Mhm.
It worked for
Okay.
me.
On Sunday.
For you? So next Saturday at 7 a.m.
7
Saturday.
a.m. and 7 a.m. Two 12 hours.
Let's do that. And we'll start from beginning again. Okay, the repetition
Oh,
is gonna.
Ron cannot be on Saturday.
Oh,
Ron can only be on Sunday.
oh,
Yeah, that's the day I've got to move a bunch of stuff from my mom's house.
okay. And the week after 17 and 18 is no good because of the wedding.
Oh no, 17 and 18 works.
No, 17, 18 is good. I thought you said the 24th and 25th.
Okay, 17, 18.
Yeah, that works.
That one works.
Well, let me check my schedule. I don't think anything is on there, but 17 and
You can do 5
18.
to 5.
No,
May.
the other members will sleep until 7. 7 to 7 is perfect.
Okay, I think I'm okay with 17 and 18. Nothing
Okay.
on
Mhm.
the schedule, so we're gonna shoot for 17 and 18. We'll do a 12 to 12 and then 12 to 12.
Awesome.
Okay, thank
Oh.
you, Morgan, for that recommendation. Let's see if we can cause some more positive change for other people, invite some friends. Okay.
Yeah.
Very grateful for you guys for sticking through it.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you, Frank, for sticking through it as well, helping us out. I'm
Okay.
grateful for that.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right. You guys take care.
You too, Frank.
Thank you.
Good
Take
night.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.